Dear friends, this talk is the continuation of the previous one, in which I tried to give some light on the human condition. It is in the framework of the Exodus, and at the very beginning of the story, of this wonderful story, we can see that the people of Israel is slave in Egypt, and we know how they were facing their destruction and also suffering cruel slavery by the hands of the Egyptians. This situation is also the model, the paradigm of our human condition, that is the experience of being slaves, the experience of being in alienation, the experience of deep unhappiness, the condition that cries for salvation. In the last talk, I was saying that the need of salvation, of course, it is very obvious, in some dramatic conditions that we can meet, like when people are, addicted, or when people have a moral bankruptcy, when they are really slaves of a sinful condition. We can see when people are in the verge of moral or psychological breakdown. Then we see that these people is not well, it's very bad, and he or she needs salvation, But we can also, I think we need to see as well those conditions not so obvious, not so clear, that also can be leading us to understand that we need a savior. Hell is not even know that you are lost. It is said, hell is not even know that you are lost. So it is possible that we human beings are living or existing without being aware that we need something, without being aware that we are lost. How do we experience that we are lost? We mentioned before that could be something subtle, a certain kind of insatisfaction, the realization that life moves too fast, and then we become aware that, oh my gosh, I am already 50 or 60. What have I done with my life? Or as the mother of my friend said, when will be my time to enjoy life? When will be my time to enjoy life? So this could be signs, subtle signs that there is something wrong. But today, in today's talk, I'm going to go deeper, as the surgeon that cuts open, and painfully, because he tries to understand better and go deeper the human body and see what is going on beneath the surface. Why? Why this insatisfaction? Why human condition needs salvation? Because this is what we try to proclaim, that we are in Egypt, that we need a savior. My brother used to say that if you have to do something, the hardest part of it is to think Once you have figured it out, you can do it once or 100 times. But the first one is the most difficult because you have to think. Once you know it, just to repeat it is quite easy. Thinking is the hardest part. And I believe that is the key question, to think. Why do we think? And allow me to say, because we have a soul. We are not just animals. Animals, they don't need to think. That is why life for them is so easy. They don't need to think how to build the nest. They don't need to think how to drive or to go from here to there. They don't need to think how to hunt or to catch the prey. For them, life is easy because they do not need to think. They just rely on their instincts. But for us, we need to think. We just cannot rely on our thoughts. So we are not just animals, not even very clever animals, because we have a soul. And this soul is a tragic gift. A tragic gift. Sometimes, if we didn't have a soul, our lives again will be much easier. But this gift, to have a soul, is also a tragedy, as we will try to see. Again, you can go through life without thinking. A friend of mine, Richard, told me that his cousin, one day, quite upset, told to him, you Catholics and religious people, you are so greedy. Huh? Why do you say that? Yes, you are so greedy because you want eternal life forever. For us, it is enough just to have a few years here on earth. We are happy with that. But you are so greedy. You want to have life forever. We don't need that. Just a few years. It's very funny because actually I have never ever listened to someone setting the things so clearly, We religious people, we are so greedy, and it is true. And if you and me, we are here, and if you are listening now, it's because you are greedy, and because I am greedy, because I will not be happy with just a few years here on earth, and I'm sure you wouldn't be either. On the other hand, if you think just as my friend's cousin, then it will be pointless to listen to me because I don't have anything to say to you, really. Just to wish you good luck. Wish you luck. And hopefully you will enjoy the many years that you will be able to live here on earth. That's true, because if you want to live here on earth just a few years, you don't need salvation. Really, you don't. You only need something to eat, food. And you need a flat, and you may need also someone to protect you. That's all. Because basically your life will be very simple, just survive. Just to survive. You do not need salvation. Just be lucky that you're in a good country and that you could have the chance to work, and to provide for your family, and you will be safe enough, to go on your life and enjoy your days, and that will be all. You don't need any more. You don't need to think in God. You don't need to think in salvation. You don't need to make your life difficult. Just live. But, my goodness, chances are, you know, that your soul will play with you bad tricks. And your soul will start to scream, maybe sometimes with a very, very, very low cry that you can hardly listen to. And although you have figured out, you know, your life, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, your goals, somehow, maybe your soul again, you know, will say, I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied, you know, and you will cry for more. So this is the drama of our soul, our tragic gift. It is interesting, you know, because we live in this world and we try to, as I'm saying before, you know, to be happy. That is also what the Buddha said. All of us, we have this in common. Not even our language, our race, our country. We are different in this respect. But there is something we have in common. All of us, without exception, we try to be happy. That is the source of compassion. We want to avoid suffering and we want to be happy, you know. And this happiness, again, is not just for many of us, you know, the fulfillment of the basic requirements of survival, of security. We need something more. We need food for the soul, not just food for our body, not just food for our heart, or also knowledge for our mind. We also need food for our soul. We need peace. We need love, true love. We need joy. And the drama is, my dear friends, the drama is that I do not know. I do not know how to provide this food for my soul. I do not know how to provide this food for my soul, no matter how smart I am. I can be very smart, you know. I can be successful. Maybe I am good at, I don't know what, sports, or I am an artist, or I am an intellectual, whatever your skill, you can achieve in that particular area, whatever you want, you know, and still, your soul will be starving. So this is the point that I would like to stress, that our soul will be starving. Because you have not created yourself. You cannot live under the illusion that you are the master of yourself. There is this expression, the causa sui project. Causa sui means to be the reason, the justification of myself, of yourself, of himself. I am the one who justify my own life. This is the causa sui project. But I didn't create myself. If you ask me, raise your hand, I can do it. I can raise my hand. You see? Easily. But if you ask me, how do you do it? I have no idea. I have no idea which muscles were involved, which neurotransmitters were involved, which nerves were asked to connect with the muscles, which part of my brain were involved. I have absolutely no idea. I just sent an order, raise the hand. The hand was raised. And the same goes with my heartbeat, with breathing, with the digestive function, with all the amazing processes that are happening within me. How do I see things? How do I taste? I have no idea. I have received my life, and I am conscious of my life. I am self-conscious, but it doesn't mean that I am the master of myself. And to pretend that I can do that, that is too much. And that will bring only to disaster. Our soul will starve. What does it mean that I am, the owner, the center, the king of my own castle? What does it mean? That means that I consider myself, the one in charge. I am the one in charge. I am the one who drives the car. Sometimes I ask some of the teenagers, here and there, do you believe in God? No, I believe in myself. Do you have any religion? No, my religion is myself. The best religion is to believe in oneself. Until you cannot believe anymore, How can you believe in yourself? Of course, everybody agrees that a certain degree, of self-confidence is necessary. But this is one thing. And the other thing is that I can be the master of myself, the master of my castle, that I can sit on the throne. Because as I am telling you, I didn't create myself. You didn't create yourself. This is a kind of delusion. I have the power, to control my life. I have the power of decision to say what is good for me and what is not good for me. I can set my own rules. I am the master and the maker of my own destiny. This is too much. And this is, how could I put it? Sometimes there is a ceremony that we have here in the school when the secondary 6 students, they graduate. Before that, we celebrate a Thanksgiving Mass, And usually, at the time of the Mass, some teachers, they go up to the stage, and then they address the students, and usually they tell them something encouraging, like, you have a future ahead of you. Be confident, be courageous, and all these kind of things, And one day, one of the teachers told me that everybody knows that all of that is a lie. But they have to say it. It is really heartbreaking. This teacher was like the one on the tail of the emperor's tails, that actually he was naked. And the little child said, he is naked. So this teacher said, what everybody is saying, that you have a future and you are going to be happy and so on and so forth, is actually a joke. But of course needs to be said. Why it is a joke? And why it needs to be said? It needs to be said because these students, they move from the safe and protected environment, and some of them will leave, they will have to work. Some of them, they will go to the university, and they need, to think that life is going to be good to them. There is even this idea of a bargain. Some people think unconsciously, or some people even make a kind of unconscious bargain with life. In these terms, okay, I will follow the rules, I will behave, I will be a good person, I will do what it takes, I will study, I will work hard, I will not drive when I'm drunk, I will behave, and then life will treat me nicely and fairly. This is the covert bargain, But it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. Sometimes, things can go on smoothly, but sometimes unexpectedly, out of the blue, things go wrong. So that is why in our Thanksgiving Mass, teachers need to say to their students, the future is ahead of you, go and eat it. Go ahead. You need to be confident. You need to be courageous. You need to work hard. If you only work hard, you will get it. You will succeed. And all these tales that you have enough self-confidence, you don't give up, you will succeed. All this kind of BS, It's impossible. The burden of my own life is too much. Not only my own body is something that I do not know, but even my own heart, my own soul is unknown to me. Who am I? Why am I born? Why was I born in that particular place? What am I doing here? What is the purpose of all this? All these questions, Animals, they don't need to ask and they don't need to answer. But we cannot avoid them. As my brother said, the hardest task is to think. If we wouldn't think, these questions will not, we wouldn't have to wrestle with them. And this question will not be so annoying. Sometimes we are able, to put them aside, and life will go on. But sometimes, they are nagging. They are nagging. So here we are, fighting with the idea that I need to be someone, that I need to strive for excellency or whatever, that I need to be in control. But at the same time, there is a tremendous fear that I am not good enough, that I may not get it, that life may not be nice with me, that I may fail, that I may collapse. Maybe sometimes I may experience fleeting moments, of happiness or even joy, but then they come and go. And even they leave me even more unhappy than before. So I try not to think, just go on, go on, go on. Try to be realistic, you know. Try to maybe lower my expectations, you know. As the friend, as the cousin of my friend, you know. We are here for just a few years. Don't think too much. Everybody is the same. Try to enjoy life. Try to do something that you like. Try to new experiences. Does it work? Does it really work? These are just ways, you know, to delude yourself, you know, to fool yourself, to try, you know, to shut up the voice of your soul that is crying for something else, crying for life, crying for food. Because your belly could be very full, in even your emotions, in your mind, but your soul is starving. Your soul is starving. If you didn't have a soul, if you wouldn't have a soul, no problem. No problem. You will just be an animal, even a very smart one. But you are not just an animal. You have a soul. And that is why you need help. You really need help. You need salvation. We need salvation. As I told you in the other talk, you know, in the past, human condition was established as the result of the original sin. Our ancestors, Adam and Eve, you know, they sinned when they were put to the test in the Garden of Eden, you know, and as a consequence of that, as a result of that, you know, all of us, we carry, you know, the consequences of our first parents, you know, suffering and death. So, in the past, when people ask themselves, we are in a mess, right? Yes, of course. That is our human condition because of the fall. So, we are a mess because our parents, our first parents, they committed the sin, the original sin, and we carry the consequences. Modern man has done away with all myths, with all Bible stories. So he doesn't have any explanation for his real condition. He cannot claim that he is a sinner anymore. So the point is that nowadays, modern man, he is also a sinner, but without the right word for it. We are lost, and we know it, which is good. We are lost, but we do not know why. We don't know why. I hope that gently, slowly, because it will take time, you know. What we are talking about is so essential, so to the core, so important to understand ourselves and our fellow men and women, that although these talks could be or maybe abstract, you know, or very seldom we will talk about this, but I believe it is worth. I believe it is necessary, you know, to face who are we, what is happening to us, why do we feel this emptiness inside me, this void, why although I am healthy and everything seems to be okay, why still I feel there is something missing, that not everything is right, something is really wrong. Why? And you know why? Because you are not just an animal, my friend. You have a soul, and this soul is a gift. a wonderful gift, but also a tragic gift. God bless you.